I took off last week. October 1st was my husband and my 30th wedding anniversary. So I thought it would be a good idea to just kind of stay away from work, stay away from everything, and just concentrate on him. And we didn't do a whole lot of, things. We had lunch. We, went out to lunch. We went out to dinner and just kind of, sat and talked. And it was nice just to kind of reconnect, but it was difficult for me not to do any work at all. So, I appreciate you all hanging in with me, even though we skipped last week, but we are back this week. So let me know how you're doing today. This is Connecting to Spirit with Stacy. I'm evidential medium Stacy Needenthal. If this is the first time that you have come on, welcome. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I do this every Tuesday at 10:30, where we talk about things that maybe you're not comfortable in talking with other people about, whether it is meditation or mediumship, um, soul retrieval, coming back home after grief. But these are all things that I like to talk about. Thank you, Tracy. She says, we're the cutest couple. You know, he's the best thing in the world that ever happened to me. If you would have told me 31 years ago, 32 years ago, that I would be in a relationship like I am in, I would have said you're full of crap. But you know what? God answered the call and put him in my life. And for that, I am very, very thankful. So, some of the events that are coming up this coming week is our women's retreat in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And we're going to be going for 3 days and 3 nights. Denise and I have all kinds of activities and sessions that we're going to be doing. I know it's last minute, but we still have a couple spaces available. So if you're interested in joining us, let me know and we will get you a seat. We will get you a spot at Pigeon Forge. And then let's see, October 28th, I'm doing a gallery reading, an intimate gallery reading at Kismet Epiphany. An intimate gallery reading is usually, no more than 15 people. Everybody receives a reading. The 27th of October here at Hip Gypsy Emporium, we're combining a Harry Potter tea with a gallery reading. Then it'll be in Bel Air, Maryland, November 18th and 19th. So if you're interested in scheduling an appointment, just go on my website, schedule a reading. If you are looking for a reading in PA, here in Chambersburg, or a Zoom reading, click on that. If you're looking for a reading in Bel Air, Maryland, click on Meetings in Bel Air. I think it says in Maryland. I do have some appointments that are available here at the end of October and going into November. So if you're interested in a reading, click that button. Big, big, big announcement. And I've been waiting to announce it. And I was actually going to put the link on, and I haven't done it yet. It'll probably be on later today. But October 29th, on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, I will have my very first podcast, and it's 8 o'clock in the evening. Every Tuesday night on Business to Business, B2B Network. It'll be streaming on um, YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcast. Connecting to Spirit, B2B has picked me up as one of their hosts. So we'll be starting that, and I'm so excited for this new adventure for that. So be sure to tune in and watch that. Oh, I see somebody is in Florida. You know what? Prayers going out to you. Um, so many things that are going on right now. It's kind of crazy. But we hope that you are safe, and we pray for your safety throughout the past storm and the upcoming storms. So, um, it was really difficult for me to decide on what I was going to talk about today. And, some of the things that went through my head, and even still this morning, I thought maybe I should change what I'm talking about. But with everything that's going on in our world, with the weather, with, the things that are happening to the flood victims, with the upcoming election, with all these things coming up, I thought, should I speak about this? And I thought to myself, I can't give you what my opinions are on this. To me, it's not professional for me to give you my opinions on what I feel is happening in the world. What I can tell you is the world is in a spiritual warfare right now. Open your eyes, See it for what it is. Try not to let it get you down. Pray for relief from this. Put positive vibrations out. Do things for others. And just come back to yourself, to your spiritual whole self. Ask God for help. Ask your guides for help, the universe, however you see fit. And know that no matter where we're at right now, in this moment in time, we will get through it. I have really been struggling with a lot of stuff. Um, I don't consider myself a sensitive when it comes to spirituality. I pick up senses, but I don't hold on to it. But I gotta tell you, and I'm gonna say the last 3 months, things have really been like working on me. And I'm sad and I'm mad and I'm out of wonk. So I pray and I meditate a lot. And that's what I would ask you all to do as well, is if you're feeling kind of gunked up about everything that's going on right now. So, you know, pray for Florida, pray for North Carolina and Tennessee and Georgia and, all the states that were hit with the past hurricane, and pray for protection around this next one that's coming up, and pray for guidance, that we see what's happening and we are able to lend a hand and help those that are in need. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. So let's talk about mediumship, right? I'm an evidential medium. Well, what the heck is that? That means I give you evidence of your loved ones on the other side. And good morning, good morning, good morning to everybody. Thank you for the correct congratulations. Um, I am seeing your comments. So I watched a show the other night, and I love to watch like documentaries, and I love to watch those things that kind of like make me think and what if, or what. And I just, it's interesting to see what other people's points of view are. And I don't always agree with other people's point of views, but I like to know what they are. And I was watching this show, and I feel like it's a fairly new show because I hadn't seen it on before, and I'm not sure what station it's on. Um, but Penn and Teller were debunking mediums. They called them psychics. And, my first instinct was, if you're going to debunk this, you should know the difference between a psychic and a medium. When you put psychics all together, not all psychics are mediums, but all mediums are psychics. All right. So I listened and I watched, and that was the first thing that came to mind because they kept talking about psychics. And let me just explain to you what a psychic is. So psychic. Hey, they have spidey sense. So a psychic has like the special mental ability, energetic ability to read the energy of the clients that they meet, to let them know what's going on in their surroundings. They can see what has happened in the past. They can give you knowledge of what is coming, but God gives you free will. So know that you can change the course. All right. You have free will. They have the ability to kind of guide you into the right direction. But again, you have the choice of what to do. And psychics may use stones or cards or crystals to focus on the energy that's around them so that they can focus on what they need to say to you. But they're very in tune with your energy. Yesterday, I had two clients come in. I did psychic readings for them. I did an energy, reading for both of them. And, what I was saying to them was kind of spot on with where they were going. And it also gave them a little bit of knowledge. The one, and of course, I'm not going to tell you anything about any of my clients, but the one has been thinking for several years about this business that she wants to do, but she was kind of nervous or reserved about it. And the things that came up that said, movement. Why aren't you moving? Why are you stuck? You're visualizing that you're seeing this. You need to move forward with it. Make a plan. Get all of this stuff that is in your head that's whirling around, that's causing you to pause and put things in place, right? And she understood it. She understood it completely. So they focus on your energy and your auras and things like that so they can see what's going on. Now, if you have a reading with me, I am a psychic medium, but I tend more to do the mediumship part of it. And a medium has the ability to connect with your loved ones on the other side. They work with the spiritual realm. Now, in order to be able to work with the spiritual realm, you also have to be connected to energy. Psychics just have the ability, and I don't want to say it just because there are very good psychics out there, have the ability to read this and to give you information about that. Where a medium not only can psychically feel, see, and hear, they are also working with the spiritual realm where they can connect with those on the other side, whether it's a past loved one or a guide or an angel. They have the ability to give you messages and help to bring you peace about your loved one. So they're not going to, psychics and mediums cannot get rid of your grief. And that was one of the things that Penn and Teller were talking about, how we prey upon, the vulnerable state, the vulnerable position that you were in to help you to get rid of grief. Nothing is going to get rid of grief except for time, and even time is not going to get rid of your grief. Allow these things to kind of settle in and allow yourself to remember the things that you had and to know that your loved one is okay. We're the ones that aren't okay because all of a sudden we don't have this loved one in our life. I lost a very dear friend of a very dear friend of mine just the other day. And although I know that she is okay, she was a community member with Connecting to Spirit. Although I know that she's okay, I'm going to miss our phone calls. I'm going to miss seeing that smiling face. So nothing is going to help me to get through that grief except for time of knowing that she is okay. So, having given you the information of what the difference is between a psychic and a medium, you can see where when someone is going to debunk something, they need to have all the information. So, their first faux pas, mistake, whatever you want to say, was saying, calling these mediums psychics and generalizing psychics. So, um, they gave, I have so many pages. They gave, and I don't want you to think that I am defending mediums and psychics because Lord knows there are good and bad ones out there. I want you to be informed. I want you to do your research before you actually have a reading. Okay. So they gave examples of two very well-known mediums and two mediums that I've never heard of. Now, just because I've never heard of them doesn't mean that they're not good mediums. But they gave these two examples, and two of them that were very well known. And they've been, oh my gosh, the one's probably been a medium for probably 40 plus years, and the other one, maybe 35 to 40 years. So they gave these examples of these two mediums, and they're mediums that I have read their books, I have watched them perform or facilitate readings, I have listened to their podcasts, and I have a lot of respect for them. Now, do I agree with every single thing that they say? No. No, because we all work in different modalities. We all have our different strengths. We all um, channel in different ways, but I believe that their heart is in the right place. Okay. So these are mediums who have literally done tens of thousands of readings in their career. Have they had bad readings or had a bad day? Absolutely. We all have. I've had readings where I'm just like, that that I'm facilitating myself, where for some reason the connection isn't right. Maybe I'm having a bad day. Maybe I'm not in the right headspace. I was concerned about the reading I was going to do yesterday because of the loss of a friend of mine, and my head wasn't exactly where it needed to be. I was glad that it was a psychic reading, because I wasn't going up into the spiritual realm. I was reading their energy. So when I think about this, and I know that there's good TV and I know that there's bad TV, and I know that when you have a medium that is facilitating a taped session, that there are interruptions. And I know that they take good stuff and get rid of bad stuff. I've had a lot of people say to me, if I'm out in the grocery store or whatever, or I meet someone, and they'll say, "Oh, what do you see around me?" And I'm like, "It doesn't work that way. I'm not open to channel right now." "Oh, well, I've watched, Teresa Caputo, and she just goes up to people." Understand that Teresa goes out with a film crew, knowing that her job is to do reading. So she's open and ready to channel. I don't stay open all the time. Okay. So, so I know, hmm, I know that there are good and bad people out there. I know that there are good mediums and bad mediums out there, and that makes me sad. And I know television can screw up a lot of really good things. Okay. Henceforth, what's going on right now? Are we being lied to or are we being told the truth? Who knows? And anytime you watch a show of any sort, I want you to think to yourself, does this feel right within me? Do I feel like this is the truth or do I feel like it's a bunch of BS? And that's not just with watching a show on mediums, but I've literally watched hundreds of different mediums on TV, YouTube, because I like to study their actions. I like to study how they make the connections. And sometimes I think to myself, I don't agree with that. That wasn't the right thing to say. But if you've ever sat in a reading with me, there are times that I just spit something out and then I go, "Ooh, probably shouldn't have said it that way." Because spirit comes in so quickly sometimes, and it's not me speaking sometimes. I try to pause and listen and give you what they say. Sometimes it just comes out. So, when they were looking at these two mediums that have been doing the work for years, they showed tapes of them from literally 25, 30 years ago. And I think to myself, I wonder how many shows, how many tapes that they went through until they got these two or three that they're trying to debunk. And then there were two mediums, like I said, that I had never heard of. And they showed one session for each medium. Now, let me just tell you, I'm being tested um, by a foundation that helps people who have lost their loved ones. And I have to do 5 blind readings to see if I pass and I'm able to do this. So they're vetting their mediums. So a blind reading basically is, I don't know the person's name, I don't know what they look like, I don't know where they're located, I know nothing. And it's a Zoom call. I've already done one and I passed the first one. I have 4 more to go. So when it's a Zoom call, I can't even see them. All that comes up is their name, and I don't even know if it is their proper name, you know? I don't know what I'm walking into, basically. I just have to trust that spirit will give me the right things to say. And through test one, spirit didn't let me down, which I knew that they wouldn't. I was nervous because I like to see the person. I like to connect with their energy, with their eyes. But I was able to do it. I passed. I got 4 more to go. So, got off subject there. So the two mediums that they showed the tape of, their readings, yes, they were very general. They were very general. And what I mean by general is sometimes you can assess or assume, because of the way that the person looks, age, that they have lost a mother, a father, a grandmother, or a grandfather. I've got this mother figure coming in. Would you recognize a mom who has passed? Oh, she was very lovely. This is all general, okay? You want evidence, and I'll explain that later. Um, so when I watched this, and you could see that the person who was receiving the information was very touched by the information that they were receiving. So there was some type of healing that was going on there. Was it a general reading? Absolutely. Was I disappointed in the reading? Yes, I was. But I don't know the medium who was giving the reading. I don't know the information that they were getting. I don't know how serious it was for the son who was receiving this information. But the show and with Penn and Teller, they absolutely made a mockery out of mediumship, out of the spirit realm, out of God, out of angels, out of all of this stuff. Now, I know that mediums, psychics, are not doctors, they're not lawyers, they're not electricians, they're not plumbers. But have you ever heard about a surgery gone wrong? Have you ever heard about an electrician wiring something wrong or a plumbing disaster? Somebody installs your windows in your house and the glass pane breaks. Well, if he knew what he was doing, the glass wouldn't have broken. We're human. We make mistakes. So when I'm watching this, I'm thinking to myself, you're trying to say that psychics and mediums feel as if they're better than anyone else because they can connect to the spirit realm. Well, let me tell you, I am not better than anybody else. I have an ability to connect to the spirit realm, and we all have some type of ability. We really, really do. And I give this example all the time. Eddie Van Halen had an ability to play the guitar. Eddie didn't start with the guitar, he started on the drums. And then his brother actually started playing the drums. Alex had an ability to play the drums. And Eddie was so in tune with this guitar that he took it apart and put it back together so it would be the way that he wanted it to be. Is that a gift? It's an ability. John Edwards said one time that he doesn't like to say that he has a gift because it makes him look like he's more special. He just has an ability. And the more you hone into your ability, carpenters, have you ever seen, some of these things that carvers, we have a friend of ours who carves wood, and, and chainsaw artists, they look at a tree trunk and they can see an eagle. Like, that's an ability. You see through the wood. The wood is talking to them in essence. And zit, 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 zit. And I'm not saying easy peasy, but after a couple hours or whatever, this piece of wood is now this beautiful eagle, or it's a bear, or whatever. They can see it like I don't see it. Just like I can see, feel, and hear spirit like maybe you don't. But you see signs and symbols. I have people tell me all the time. I had a friend of mine send me a photo the other night of her granddaughter fishing. And she said, "Ah, I know this picture's a little bit blurred, but look at the picture." And literally, you could see her granddaughter fishing. And I think her granddaughter is the same age as mine, like around 16. And you could see beside her a man in a hat with his arm around her. And she sent me a picture of her father-in-law. And when you put the two together, it was, oh, holy crap. Like, you cannot not believe this. I'm sorry. You can't. You can't rationalize it. Spirit does what spirit wants to do to show you that they are around. So when Penn and Teller they were talking, they were saying about how we prey upon the vulnerable. Excuse me one second. Oh shoot. Habit. I chew ice. that that mediums prey upon the vulnerable, those that are grieving. And again, I'm not trying to defend mediumship, spirituality. I just want you to be informed. I just want you to think about it. I just want you to go, that makes sense, and make your own decision. If you have lost someone recently and you call me for a reading and tell me, my father just passed 2 days ago, I need a reading. I'm going to say to you, no, No, I want you to wait 30 to 60 days. And when you call to make the appointment, do not tell me who has passed. I need you to be ready. Now, I have done readings unbeknownst to me that the person has just passed 3 or 4 days ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever it is. But to me, you need time to like absorb this. Mediumship should not be a crutch. I don't know if that's the right word to your grief. You need to feel it and walk through it and see it. Okay. So, um, hmm, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh, the interesting thing is they said that there is no scientific proof that mediumship is truth, I guess is the best way to say it. And I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit later, but just think about that. There's no proof that spirit is among us. There's no proof. So don't believe your lying eyes, right? My friend of mine who sent me this picture, I have another friend of mine that after her husband passed, and you cannot like when I see these pictures on her ring camera, there was an orb that came up and you could see her husband's face in the orb. There was no denying it. None. All right. So we go to the unknown to me psychics that they called, but mediums. And if they are psychic, that would be why they would be struggling with some of the information because they could read the information around the person. If you have a reading with me, you will notice when I'm channeling, I'm looking off to the right. I don't want to slip into a psychic reading. I don't want to read your energy because you may be saying, I want to talk to my mom. I really want to talk to my mom. I want to talk to my mom. And I hear, I want to talk to my mom. Okay. So is this your daughter that's coming through that's saying they want to talk to their mom, or is this you saying to me that you want to talk to your mom? So what I'll do is I concentrate here. So if I hear I want to talk to my mom, I have a child here for you. Do you understand that? And if you've had a reading, you'll notice my eyes are closed. And then I'll do this because I don't want more information. I just want to know if I've got the right person here. So the one said that they were a recovering psychic. And they spoke about how all mediums, all psychics, read body language and watch their eyes and can tell by looking at someone if they've lost, due to their age, if they've lost this. Well, let me tell you, I had a woman come in, I don't know how long ago. Um, and this woman was probably in her 70s and her son came through. Now, my human mind is thinking she probably has a mother or a father on the other side, but her son came through. So I went with the son. And as we're talking about that, the son was saying, tell grandma I'm watching over him. And I said to her, I said, is your mom still earthbound? And she said, yes, she is. Both of my parents are. Her parents were like 96, 97 years old. So the son was giving the mom a message for the grandparents. Now, some mediums, some psychics may say, this person looks about 75. Chances are they've lost a mom. Okay. And then they just kind of, their human mind goes into it. But mediums have been trained to pull back from that and listen to be able to give validations. All right. So, anyway, the well-known mediums, like I said, their film clips were from years ago, and I don't know how many tapes that maybe they went through to show to kind of debunk it. And some of it were, was kind of general, and they showed this one. And I don't want to, well, yeah, I don't want to say who it is, but they're very well-known mediums. And the one medium said, when I give information, I know that I'm not wrong. I may be misinterpreting it a little bit, but it will make sense to you later on. So Penn and Teller were saying, so if you don't understand the information, you were wrong, you were stupid, whatever. Doesn't mean that at all. It means that either either the medium, because things come to us almost like charades. I'll see signs and symbols. I did a practice reading for a woman a couple months ago. And as I was doing this reading for her, we sit in circles basically through Zoom, and we practice, and then we can evaluate each other to help us be better. And I said, as I was doing this, Sister Sledge, a song I was hearing, Soul Sister, Go Sister, Soul Sister, Go, Go Sister. So to me, funny, my printer just went off. So to me, I was thinking, Soul Sister, okay, she must have a sister. So I said, do you understand a sister who has passed? And she said, no, I don't. And I kept hearing this, Soul Sister, Go Sister, Sister Sledge, Sister Sledge. So I went to another spirit, another energy that was coming through, but I kept hearing this and I kept coming back to it. I said, this is important. You don't have a sister who has passed. And I explained how the sister had passed. And she said, no. So I went back to spirit and I said, give me another sign. Well, I saw a penguin walking with a ruler in its hand, and I heard third grade. And I went, oh my God. I said, did you go to Catholic school and have Sister Teresa? Because then I heard the name. Was she your teacher in third grade? And the woman was like, oh my God, yes, I did. Do you know if this is how she passed? Yes, it is. So I was interpreting Sister Sledge, Soul Sister, as a sister who had passed, which it was, but it wasn't the direct relation. So sometimes signs and symbols can get a little confused. To me, what a medium should do on a one-on-one reading is go back to spirit and say, give me something else. When you're doing platform reading and you've got 35 plus, I mean, these people would have hundreds, if not thousands of people in their audience. They may or may not have time to go back and, because they want to do as many readings as possible. So, um, and I also want to say, when you, sometimes when clients go to a medium, they are so set on who they want to come in that it's almost like they don't hear anything else. When my mom passed, and my daughter and I went to see a medium, and my mom did come through. But first, this medium said, I have a father figure coming through. I'm like, no. And she said, I have this father figure. And she started explaining him. And I'm like, my father's still alive. And my daughter tapped me on the shoulder because I was focused on my mother coming through, right? My daughter touched me on the shoulder and she said, Mom, Pappy. And I said, Pappy's still alive. And she said, Dad's dad? And I'm like, oh, yes, father figure. Oh my God. And you said this is, yes, it makes sense. But I was so focused, even as a medium, I was so focused in getting a message from my mother that I wasn't hearing anything else. Yes, I do tape the readings. Okay. I can record them. And we'll talk about that a little bit further. So let's talk about what an evidential medium is. So I told you what a psychic does, and I told you what a medium does. And things have changed through the years. So that's why these tapes that they showed of these two well-known mediums from years ago, there were certain things on television. Do you agree? There were certain things on television that we could not speak about. That now you can speak about anything. So things have changed. Why would they not show recent footage? Don't know. Why did they go back so far? Maybe they had to go back so far to find a flaw. I don't know. Okay. Why didn't they show 4 or 5 sessions? I don't know. Okay. So, an evidential medium. What an evidential medium is, this is a medium, this is a person who can connect to your loved ones on the other side. But what they will do is they will give you 4 or 5 pieces of information to make sure they have the right person. So, if you go to a medium and they say, based on how you look, I have a mother and a grandmother here. Would you understand that? Oh, yes, my mother passed and my grandmother passed. Oh, they love you very much and they want you to know that you are okay, that they're okay. Would you understand that? Yes, I would understand that. Boy, your grandmother really liked to bake a lot. Would you understand that? It's that stereotypical, okay? It's that generalization. And maybe your grandmother owned a bakery. I don't know. But here's what you want to look for. You want an evidential medium. So, whoops. So an evidential medium will tell you how they work first. Make sure that you understand it. They won't want you to give them a lot of information when you make the appointment or when you're sitting there with them. Okay. So an evidential medium, here's an example. So I have a mom figure here. And I'll use my mom as an example, okay? So I have a mother figure here who feels as if she got sick very quickly and passed very quickly. And I'm getting the months of May and November for some reason. And I feel like the lungs are filling up, but I have a pain in my back, which would essentially let me know that this was a lung cancer. And this mom figure feels like she lived a very full life, but she feels like she's in her 70s. Does that resonate with you? Well, if I were the sitter, my mom passed of lung cancer. She was born in November. She got sick in May and she passed at 73. All right. So when the medium says, does that resonate? That's the information that you give back to them. If it doesn't make sense, it's okay to say, I can't take any of that. Don't make it fit. When I open up, I will say to my clients, if I have a male figure coming through, it is not Aunt Jan. I swear it is not Aunt Jan. Unless Aunt Jan was super masculine, but then it probably still isn't her. So listen to what's being said and what makes sense to you. There are times that it might not make sense at the time of the reading, but it makes sense later. I get so many emails and phone calls about, oh my gosh, this didn't make sense, but I talked about this. When I had a reading um, 10 years ago, the only thing that the medium said to me that didn't make sense was, your mom keeps saying number one, number one. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. So when I came home and I was telling my husband about it, and he was leery about mediums. This is before I got into mediumship. And I said, she kept referring to number one, but I don't know what that is. And my husband's eyes got huge and he goes, I know what that is. That's for me. And I'm like, what? And he goes, don't you remember when your mom would call? She would call and say, number one, I want to talk to number one. She wanted to talk to me. Because when my husband and I got married, my sister wasn't married at the time. And when my sister got married, my husband said to my mom, look, I know you have another brother or son in law, but I'm your number one. And from that point on, she always called him number one. Didn't make sense to me, but it made sense to him. Are you hearing me? Okay. So a medium will give you evidence. He feels tall. He feels short. Did he wear glasses? Beard. Um, Seeing him salute. Was he in the service? Things like this. And they may ask questions like, was he in the service? Some mediums will say, you would understand that he's in the service, right? But the information comes really quick. If they weren't in the service, say, no, they weren't in the service. But you know what? He was a fireman. He served. Understand? Okay? But don't make it fit because a mediumship reading can be unbelievably beautiful. Now remember what I said that Penn and Teller said that there is no scientific proof. Okay? That you can't scientifically prove mediumship. All right. I beg to differ. There are several tests out there that mediums have taken um, where they will put like electrodes on the head and they will examine the brain as readings come through. And impulses and receptors light up when information is there. Is that not scientific proof? Right? If I say to you, this is a pen, I can see it, I can feel it, I can write with it, this is a pen. That's the proof that this is a pen. If I say to you, your mom passed, I feel like she had lung cancer. Um, November and May are important. Birthday, there's 12 months. I'm picking two. You got to think about this. So, there are tests out there that a lot of mediums have done. I can't think of it's in Maryland. I can't think of the hospital. Um, anyway, and the college, but they have certain psychics, certain mediums go in and they test them. And I've done some of the tests. I've never actually had the electrodes on my head, but I've done, certain tests. So I did a mentorship. I just completed a 2-year mentorship with spirit artist Joe Shield. And one of the tests, or one of the exercises, I guess I should say, that we did, una momento, we were given a blindfold. Okay. Right? We were given a blindfold. We were sitting in a chair with someone across from us. We put a blindfold on. The blindfold went on the medium, and then there was the sitter. Well, we put the blindfold on, and what does spirit artist Joe Shield say? Okay, those people who are sitting before the blindfolds went on, I want you to get up and move somewhere else. So now we had no idea who was sitting in front of us. Step two, when we were doing the reading and we were nestled, I mean, we were side by side. So you're hearing noise from other mediums. The sitter could not speak to us. If I had something right, they tapped once on my knee. If I was wrong, if the answer was no, they tapped twice. And if it was try again or I don't know, it was 3 times. So not only am I bringing spirit through for someone that I cannot see because I'm blindfolded, I cannot hear their voice, but I'm hearing the voices of everyone else. It was very interesting. It's very interesting. All your other senses creep up. And it was frustrating as the medium because I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't understand. Because you had to go from left brain to right brain. Did you tap once or twice? Once. So once meant yes, so that you understand that. Okay. So I had to go back into the human mind of logic and then switch back. And it was very interesting. And then we did this interesting where we do platform speaking. And platform speaking is getting up on stage and doing readings for those who are in the audience. Mr. Blindfold comes out. You had to put the blindfold on. You had to do the reading blindfolded. Now, the person in the audience could answer back to you what they understood, but you could not see their body language. You could not see what they looked like. You didn't know if they were old or young. You could pretty well tell if they were male or female because of the sound of their voice, but not necessarily. So it heightened all the other senses. It took away this sight, my actual eyes, so that my third eye would open more. It was very interesting. And yes, I was nervous. I was so afraid that I was going to fall off the stage. The other thing is, for those of you who don't know, I talk a lot with my hands. There was a podium right beside me, and I kept hitting the podium with my big rings. Clonk, right? So I was like, I want to move over, but I'm afraid I'm going to fall off the stage because I don't want to hit this podium. So I got to the point where I kind of found the podium and just stood behind it so it was in front of me. This is a test. And those readings that came through were amazing. Someone could take it in the audience and they understood what I was saying. And even though it was so weird because the one reading I was doing while I was blindfolded, it sounded like the voice was over to my left. And once I took my blindfold off, the person was like right dead center, like right to the right of me. But their voice was over here. Interesting, right? So I've done blind readings, not knowing the clients. I've done where I can't see their face. I've done them blindfolded. I've done it where you can't hear their voice. There are mediums who will go and be tested. Like I said, I'm doing this testing for a foundation where I have to do 5 blind readings. Pass the first one, we'll see about the other 4. And if the other 4 don't pass, then I'm not going to be certified under them. And it is what it is. I just wanted the experience of doing that. So here was my big epiphany. Okay. We have 2 magicians who fool the world through illusion. That's entertainment. And I don't mean to say fool the world as a bad thing. It's entertainment. It's illusions. Well, these 2 people who have studied illusions, have studied magic tricks, they talked about Harry Houdini, are not the end all to be all. They're not right when it comes to that there is no such thing. That could be their own opinion, and maybe they don't want to believe, and that's fine. Denise has heard me say 100 times, I am not for everybody. I'll have skeptics come in from time to time, and it used to be, I used to want to like turn them around right away. I got to prove to them. I've gotten to the point where I'm like, spirit will give me what spirit gives me. If I'm not for you, I'm not for you. So interesting. Interesting. So hold on. Um, so mm, okay. I was, like I said, I wrote a lot of stuff, and a lot of this is on the top of my head. And it's funny because when we watched it, my husband said, I was hoping that wouldn't get in your head. It didn't really get in my head that I felt like I needed to defend what I do. It got in my head that someone who watches this, who actually could benefit from a reading, who is grieving, now might not do it because 2 magicians say it's an illusion, and they are professional illusionists. So, are mediums always right? No, we make mistakes. We misinterpret. We have bad days. Um, and like I said, some of our clients want to hear so badly from one particular person that they miss everything else. So, I guess why I wanted to talk to you about this today is because I feel drawn myself to help others in need. I feel drawn. I've always felt drawn to help others somehow. Um, and I want you to know that after someone passes, like, it doesn't end there. They're still here with us. Their memories still touch us. Little trinkets that they gave us, pictures, different things that they did. My mom is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Like, she made me. She's right here with me. Okay. I remember, yeah, I should say it that way. So death is just a new spiritual beginning for the person who passed. So I remember doing a reading several years ago. This is interesting. I could give you so many examples, it's not even funny. So I usually don't remember readings. If I remembered all the readings that I did, I would be nuts. And probably spirit would be walking with me and talking to me all the time. But I shut it down. It comes through. John Holland says, from spirit, through spirit, to spirit. All right. But certain readings stick out to me. And this is one that stuck out to me. Because believe me, I've questioned myself for years when I first started, because I've studied body language and I was a salesperson. And I thought to myself in the beginning, am I conning people? Am I really getting this? Like, I don't know. Am I creeping in on their vulnerability? And I asked spirit to give me a sign that this was not this, that I was doing the right thing. And they started showing me signs. So I was doing this reading at this house, and I can visualize the house. And this woman was sitting to my left. I know this looks like my right, to my left on the couch, arms crossed. And when I was bringing spirit through, I could just see her like shaking her head, rolling her eyes, sighing, kind of looking around, looking at her watch. And I mean, out of the corner of my eye, I can see this. And I got to the point where I said to her, "Are you here because you want to be here, or did somebody drag you here?" And she's like, "I'm here because I don't want you to scam my daughter. And I'm not even sitting next to my daughter. You didn't know that, did you?" Well, no, I didn't know that. It wasn't important for Spirit to tell me that. So, as we're talking about this, in my mind, I don't, sometimes I actually hear audibly, but in my mind, I heard, "Who's Isabella?" And I remember looking up and looking at this woman, and I heard, "Ask her." So I looked this woman square in the eye and I said, "Who's Isabella?" And her eyes got big and she kind of, looked around and she was like, "What?" I said, "Isabella is here and she wants to talk to you. Is it okay if I bring her through?" And she went, "Isabella's my mother." Now, I wish that I would have known, and maybe I did know and I just didn't say it. I don't know. Um, it would have been great to say, "Isabella's here and she wants to talk to her daughter. Does that make sense to you?" But I feel like Spirit gave me enough to make this woman go, "Oh my God, that's my mom." Now, had I said Mary, there's an M, a J, whatever, Isabella was her mother's name. I love when names come through. I love when I can interpret names. Doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen as often as I wish it did, but it happens when it needs to happen. And Isabella, her mom, gave me so much detailed information for her daughter that her daughter was just like, I don't want to say she was like overwhelmed, but you could tell like she was touching her heart, like, "Oh my God, oh my God." And as I'm giving this information, all of a sudden I felt my body shift, and I said, "You're the granddaughter?" And she was on the other side of the room, looked completely different from mom. I don't need to go into detail about that. And she was like, "Yeah, I'm the granddaughter." And then I gave her the information that was coming from Isabella. So there is proof out there if you are open to receiving it. You can be a skeptic of all things. I tend to be a skeptic of medical doctors. I trust my doctor explicitly. Do I go often? No. And he knows that when I come there, I probably have a laundry list of things that I need to talk to him about. Um, and if he ever retires, I'm screwed, you know? But we have skepticism, and it's good to be skeptical, but it's also good to have an open mind. So I do urge you, if you are feeling like the need to go and see a medium, do your research. Easy peasy. Do your research. Ask family and friends. Have you ever gone to a medium? Somebody in your circle has. I'm sorry. Somebody has. And when you get a name, Google them. You can Google my name and find out all kinds of information. Go look at their reviews. Ask others. What did you think about your reading? All right. So I wanted to talk to you. Yeah, I understand that. So what some of the things that I was going to say is, if you go and you have a bad reading, don't go back. You know, it's as easy as that. Maybe you'll learn something from that. If you have a bad appointment with a doctor and you don't feel comfortable with their diagnosis, you get a second opinion. Same thing. So here's the things, and somebody was asking earlier about, can you record the sessions? Here's a heads up for you. If you go to a medium, to a psychic, and they go, "Oh, you have an attachment, and I can get rid of this attachment in 6 sessions or in 5 sessions, and it's going to cost you this." You can choose to have this attachment, but bad things are going to happen to you from now on unless you let me cleanse it. Run. Bullshit. Sorry. Run. Or if it's weighing on your mind, go see someone else. Don't tell them that the psychic said this or that the medium said this. See if it comes up again. All right. If They won't let you record the session. Run. Why wouldn't they let you record it? You paid for the session. You want to re-listen to the session, record the session. I record it for my clients and then I email it to them. I don't use those recordings for anything else. And you don't know how many times down the years people said, oh, I lost that recording. Do you still have it? And I'm like, oh God, what date were you here? Well, it was, 9, 10, 22. And so in my file, it has their first name. I don't have the last name and the date that they came in. And then I can resend it. But if they won't let you record it, run. And I was really surprised when I sat in on a platform session last month or the month before, where the first thing they said was no recording. I thought, what? Why can't I record this? But it's their session. And okay. And they were fairly popular mediums. Maybe they didn't want it recorded and then sold or whatever. I don't know. But that's always like a red flag to me. If I go to a medium and they say I can't record it, well, why can't I record it? You know, I'm just giving you what information of course you can record the session. If they say to you, oh, your mom is pissed at you. You made a big mistake and she is not resting easy. She has not been able to cross because she's so angry. Run. Spirit is not angry. They are not stuck, right? They are not angry. They have a full understanding of the things that you've done and why you've done them. They don't have human senses, anger, frustration, jealousy. They do not have this. Now, your mom might come through and say, why aren't you married yet? You've been living with this man for 14 years. That's only a question. I'm not saying mom's really pissed that you're living in sin. Mom didn't say that. Okay. So if they say that your loved one is angry with you or upset with you, no, they're not. There is no more pain. There is no more anger. They have a full understanding. They are surrounded in love and light. They're not angry. They don't have their human body anymore. There is no pain. All right. If the medium is full of questions, they were debunking the one thing, saying that there was a meet and greet before the one medium that I had not heard of um, did her session. And she was out talking to people and there was, I don't know, maybe 14 people sitting that were having this reading. And she was looking at people and going, who did you want to come through today? Oh, okay. Who did you want to come through today? Okay. Why? If that happens, don't don't tell the person who you want to come through. Now, having said that, when I bring spirit through, I will say to you, let's say I brought mom through and I gave you all this information about mom. I will say to you, was mom the main person that you wanted to come through or was there someone else? No, there was someone else. Just give me their first name. Don't tell me how they're related. And I'll write their name down. Basically, I'll ask mom to connect me to Bob or whoever it is. And I will try and bring them through. Can't always do it. Most of the time I can. And what's the word? Most mediums that have integrity that can show evidence will be able to bring that person through. But there's never any guarantees. If someone guarantees that they can bring through who you need, run. All right? So if they're full of questions, run. Um, Again, we're not always right. We make mistakes. We're human. But don't give them too much information. Literally, there's times when I'll say, I have a mom, if I'm one on one with someone, I have a mom here who has passed, and I'll put my hand out. Oh, sorry. I have my hand out like this. And this mom is letting me know that she passed of lung cancer. And because I'm telling them, don't speak yet. Because there have been times when I first started when I'm like, oh, I have this mom figure. And the person sitting goes, oh my God, yes, my mom passed away. She died 9 years ago. She loved to garden. Her name was this. And they give me all this information. And they've taken away all evidence that, not all, but a lot of evidence that I could give to them. So I'll put my hand up because wait. And I don't do readings for people that I know real close, relatives. Okay. Because I know too much about them. It would be hard for me to switch from human to spiritual brain. And because I know what you need to hear. Okay. I will give you the name of a medium to tell you to go to if we're real close. So that's something else that you want to keep in mind. P.S. P.S. I do not have time to look your name up on Facebook, Google your name, look for obituaries. Send me your name. And there are people that don't even want to give me their name. And it's fine. We set an appointment, 11 o'clock. I know you're coming in. I'll meditate. Spirit knows who's coming in. I don't need to know. You walk in, we do the reading. Not a problem. Okay. Give me a fake name. I had somebody give me a fake name the other day. I don't care. Spirit knows who's coming in. You're not going to trick me. Spirit knows. We just go from there. And please, 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 if the medium gives you a lot of information and you feel peace about this, don't play stump the medium. Well, you told me it was my mom. You told me she had lung cancer. You told me the month that she was born. You told me the month that she died. You told me how old she was. You gave me her name. But if it was really my mom, she would have come through with my nickname. Apparently, your nickname wasn't important. But I gave you I gave you a fond memory of something that happened. Maybe of the two of you, there was something that I did for someone that just came to mind years ago. Um, and I believe it was a mom figure that was coming through. And I saw like an expanded bridge and I can see it now with a waterfall like coming down. And I remember saying to this person, Mom says she caught you when you were falling off the bridge. And this woman went, Oh my God, we were literally hiking, I don't know, a year ago. And we came across this bridge and I don't know if the board broke. I don't know if they slipped, but they went to fall and they felt like somebody kind of like pushed them up and then one of their family members came and caught them. So I wouldn't know about that. They're going to give you a memory. Don't worry about stump the medium. If everything else makes sense to you and you have a sense of love and knowing that your loved one is there, don't play stump the medium. And the medium should say at the end, have I given you the information that you were looking for? Have I was able to give you the validations that show you that your mother is here or whatever? Yes, you were. Thank you so much. And the medium will thank you, thank spirit, and end, right? So I, when somebody comes in and I ask if there's anything else that they need, and they say to me, when am I going to get married? I'm going to look back and go, I don't know when you're going to get married. You have free will. I don't know when the perfect mate is going to come along. I don't know if you're with the perfect mate. If we do a psychic reading, I can give you a little bit of information about that. But remember, you have free will. You may have the perfect mate, and spirit may say that you have the perfect mate, but then you cheat on them. Well, there goes that. Not sure about what that means, Joy, but okay. Um, so no, no, be informed. Be informed. If you're seeing a psychic, you may not get a mediumship reading. You're going to get a psychic reading, which maybe that's what you're looking for, answers about what's going on in job opportunities or, am I on the right path? Where's, my soul path or my life path or what's going on here? If you go to a medium, you could get both, but a medium is going to go to a mediumship reading. And I will say to my clients when I do my intention, most people who come to me are either at a crossroads looking for direction or they want to connect with someone on the other side. Are we connecting with someone on the other side today? Yes. And they'll answer, yes, we are, or no, we're not. Thank you. So then I know. I'm mediumship. I'm mediumship, and I do a little bit of the psychic stuff in the beginning of it because I want to connect with your energy. Sometimes spirit won't let me do that. They're right there. Okay. Do your research. Do your research and understand that your loved one is okay. You are not. You are the one that's grieving. And it's hard for you to wrap your head around knowing that this person is no longer there. But know that in spirit, they are there. Oh, I understand now. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Um, when you go to a meeting, go with an open mind. Ask your loved one, you better come, you better show up. Okay? Let spirit do what they do best. Send signs. Ask for signs. And then when you see a sign, thank you for that sign. Keep sending me more. Because when we pass, when this human cycle is over, there's more. We're all energy. Energy just doesn't disappear. It is this physical footprint on this earth. And our bodies are made up of our ancestors from years and years and years and years and years ago who have set forth to do certain things for us. And they're all part of our DNA. They're all part of our spirit. They're all part of our energy. Ask them to send you signs and signals. Ask them to help you in the path that you're going in. I've been struggling with something for a very long time. Well, a very long time, for like 3 months. Keep asking God, you got to help me to get through this. How do I get through this? Right? Show me how to do this. So, going to a medium may not and will not totally get you over your grief. Don't expect to go into a medium feeling grief stricken and to come out and go, I get it now. Go to a medium if you feel drawn. Don't be forced into it because it's not for everybody. Go to a medium open minded with a loving heart, asking that loved one to come through and watch them show up and be open to hearing what they have to say. It's part of the healing process if that's what you're drawn to. When I went to a medium years ago after mom passed, it helped me. It really did. There are some mediums I've gone to that I just let them talk. And then I'm like, whoa. And they'll say, do you understand that? I didn't understand any of that. It happens. Do your research. Ask your friends. Look the medium up. Check them out on Google. Um, read reviews. I tell a lot of my people, a lot of my clients, potential clients, look, go on Facebook. Look at my Tuesday Talks at 10:30. Listen. If I resonate with you, great. Set an appointment. If I don't, great. It's cool. Read my reviews. I may not be the person for you, but if I am, come in with an open mind and allow me to channel spirit and give you the message that your loved ones want to send to you. So that is my message for today. Mediumship, psychics, do your research. There are people out there that would tell you that the world is flat, and they can show you evidence that the world is flat. You can make your own decision. There are people out there that will show you a color and say, this is purple. And I say, it's not. We have this door. It's maroon. I swear it's maroon. My husband says it's purple. I just finally gave in and I was just like, come to the purple doors. Okay? You have your own free will to make your own decisions. But know that your loved ones are okay on the other side. They are watching over you. They are helping you talk to them. Allow yourself to walk through the grief and the pain of loss. Like I said, I just lost a very good friend of mine the other day, and it's, you know. So, in the upcoming days, in the upcoming hours, I would like for each and every one of you to hold space for the people of Florida, Atlanta, Tennessee, North Carolina, for the ones who have already gone through the devastation and the ones that are going to be hit soon. I want you to pray a wall of protection around them. I want you to pray for a drove of people to be able to come in and help those who have lost their homes. I want you to pray that our eyes are opened to who needs help and how we can help them. Because we, each and every one of us, need to live the life we love and love the life we live. If we don't, guess what? You're the only one that can change it. Help others. Show love. Be love. I will talk to you next Tuesday at 10:30, and I will be traveling because I'll be heading to Tennessee at Tuesday Talks at 10:30. If you're interested in setting up an appointment, go to my website, check it out, read the reviews, see what you think. Click on, um, I think it says private meeting in PA or Zoom. See what dates are available. Or if you're in Bel Air, click there. All right, guys. Prayers to all. I hope you all stay safe and healthy and know that I love you and I am proud of you and I am holding your hand through whatever process that you are working on. All right, guys. Peace out. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.